Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and we've got one heck of a powerful report to share with you guys, and a report that is so powerful that I wanted to bring on my partner at Restricted Republic, Justice Knight, because this thing is huge, and I can't wait to dive into it.
A lot of elements, hard to keep up with. So we're going to do our best.
Definitely. But here's what we have on the topic. Something has just gone wrong for the Democratic Party, because there is huge chunks of the Democrats making major U-turns from things on the impeachment of the president. We've got U-turns we're going to show you on what happened at the Capitol. They're making U-turns there. And of course, on social media and what they've done to Parler. So much is happening. And here's what I'm going to say before we even begin. America, keep doing what you're doing, because we're seeing some U-turns from the Democrats. But let's dive in to what we got. You want to kick us off?
Absolutely. 24 hours and everything has changed. And I think you got to give them a basis first of what's going on here. And it started with this, the articles of impeachment, incitement of insurrection. Now, the key parts of this is how they worded this document. Donald Trump engaged in high crimes and misdemeanors by willingly inciting violence against the government of the United States on January 6th. That's the key. You really don't need to go much past that except for one other little subparagraph. He also willfully made statements that encouraged and foreseeably resulted in imminent lawless action at the Capitol. Incited by President Trump, a mob unlawfully breached the Capitol. Now that's really all you have to read there, because it says he willfully made statements during his speech that resulted in the actions towards the Capitol and at the Capitol. So that sets a precedence there. His speech is why he was impeached, because of what he said during it.
Right. And this is the claim, obviously, from the Democratic Party that they're making against the president of the United States. And by the way, I want to say this loud and clear. We don't agree with anything, any violence or anything of that nature. Of course, we always got to make that statement here for YouTube and all of that. But with that, let's go to some of the clips of what the Democrats said shortly after this entire event.
In calling for this seditious act, the President has committed an unspeakable assault on our nation and our people.
Trump causes the anger. He causes the divisiveness. He foments the violence and blames others for it.
So there we have Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, Chucky Schumer, talking about President Trump fomenting violence and committing seditious acts. Those are some pretty bold things that they're saying there against the president. But it wasn't the only one. Even the mainstream media took part in that. And I'll show you guys this here. This is obviously Vox.com, how Trump's speech led to the Capitol riot. This is the mainstream media. And then again, New York Times, incitement to riot, what Trump told supporters before mob stormed the Capitol.
Now you see there, they're putting those timelines down. What he said just before they stormed the Capitol. Even mainstream media is saying the same thing. I'm just setting the precedence here.
Yes, but here's what they're completely leaving out. If the president committed these acts that they're accusing him of, then shouldn't he have somehow orchestrated it or something of that level?
Well, the problem is in the impeachment itself, the claim is stating that his speech incited the violence, which means there could be no initial plans to this. There could be no planning whatsoever leading it up to it by anybody. Nobody else is responsible for this except for President Trump. But, oh well, then mainstream media kicks back in.
Right. If there's planning by some other party, then how could you blame the president of the United States? I'll let you run with this next article.
Okay, let's go. Let's go to full screen here real quick. Evidence of planned attack on Capitol undercuts the Democrats' incitement claim. This on the Washington Times. We'll go into some of the verbiage very quickly. The Democrat impeachment claim that President Trump spurred the attack on the U.S. Capitol by whipping his supporters into a violent mob is coming under scrutiny as evidence mounts that the siege was not spontaneously done, but planned well in advance. The release of initial court documents shows that at least 2 suspects arrived, are you ready for this? On or before January 6th. Well, that's huge, isn't it? So go ahead to the court documents here. We find all the backup, all the evidence, everything you ever need to round this off to anybody you may have to argue against. Affidavit in support of criminal complaint down at the bottom. Based on the above information, there is probable cause to believe, and this is one of the accused, Lonnie Leroy Kaufman, on or, well, about January 6th. Well, now, you can't just go and do that, Lisa. You can't simply just say on or about now when you impeach the darn president over this stuff.
Yeah, because if other people are planning this prior to January 6th, then how is it spontaneous?
Spontaneous. And that's not the only evidence here. Yeah, we get excited about this stuff, especially when you find this much that's going on. I'll let you take this one.
And this is on here, MSN.com. New Jersey Congresswoman demands investigation into colleagues' reconnaissance tours of the Capitol.
Yeah, they did, according to this now, just think about the hypocrisy of this statement. These same people who just impeached the president say, oh, by the way, there was advanced tours of the White House, the Capitol, I'm sorry, and those advanced tours gave them recon information as to where all the offices were, how to get in, what doors to use. You just impeached the president based on him inciting all of this. It was his fault, but yet you yourself are saying there was reconnaissance ahead of time. I'm sorry, we're not lawyers here, but
we haven't even gotten into some of the backtracking that they've done. But here, I'll show you another article along that same vein while we're on it. The Washington Post, Inspector General of several federal agencies opened sweeping review of security intelligence surrounding the Capitol attack. And here's what we want to hone in. Some current and former law enforcement officials have called the disturbing incident an intelligence failure. In the federal agencies did not seem to have a sense of urgency or danger leading up to the attack. Others have argued it was less a failure of intelligence than a failure to act on the intelligence gathered, much of it from public discussions. And then more so, the Washington Post reported earlier this week that the FBI's Norfolk office circulated an intelligence report a day before the riot warning of talk online to storm Congress, break windows indoors, and get violent, get ready for war. That's a day before
that was the
riot warning of talk online. That's really clean cut.
I know what you meant to say.
But then we also have this U.S. Capitol Police banned. And this is I'll kind of let you expand on that next point there.
You want to keep going?
But
I mean, there's so much information. Just keep me off screen. Let's keep you up in here and going through this.
There we go.
U.S. Capitol Police banned during building tours on day of riot after Democrats raised security concerns. Going down in the article quickly. Days again before the violent insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. I love the use of the word before. Before. These are the same people who are propagating one side's agenda, but yet they're admitting now that everything was known ahead of time. The lockdown was in response to alarm from some congressional members who were growingly concerned about seeing large groups of pro-Trump supporters. Remember in that recon tour when she acts surprised? Oh, afterwards, there was tours going on. They were advised ahead of time there was tours going on by the Sergeant at Arms of the U.S. House, the same body that has impeached a president based on him inciting a riot. Do you understand how hypocritical this is right now? As a matter of fact, he put out a bulletin. I'm going to let you read this because I'm going to just keep screaming the more we dig into this right now.
Okay. This whole thing? We want
No,
the whole
you don't
thing
want to read
in.
all of it. I think the first couple will get you through it. Due to the tense political environment following the 2020 election, a threat of disruptive actions or violence cannot be ruled out. Supporters of the current president see January 6, 2021 as the last opportunity to overturn the results of the presidential election. Nowhere in it does it say that President Trump is going to incite it. No, it says we know this is coming. We know it's probably going to happen. We have intelligence it's going to happen. We're going to stop the tours. We're going to we're not going to call in any extra people in support, unusual as that is in itself, but we knew about everything. That's the U.S. House.
But they're going to impeach the president because it spontaneously started based off of when he spoke, even though it happened while he was still speaking, and regardless of the fact that we have all this information, or according to the FBI and other sources, not my information, that it was all pre-planned. How can you then tie the president to it? It's just, we're just sitting on common sense here. And that's not all.
Common sense has left the building. No, here, in case you want to, and follow the links, and you leave all your links at Lisa Haven News.
Yeah.
Perfect. Follow the links if you want to send any of this to your friends and ask them the question, how did the president incite a riot that was already, according to this headline from Fox News, Capitol Police Intelligence report before January 6th, riot warned Congress itself could be targeted. I don't know what else you need, Lisa.
That's kind of it. Oh, I know what else we need.
Yeah.
I mean, this is huge. Now, we're about to get into the backtracking on how the Democrats are now, well, turning their story just a little bit. And I'm going to say this, it's a little backtracking, but to me, this is at least movement in our direction, and it's worthy of bringing up that they're kind of backtracking, even if it's a little bit. I think that's huge. But before I get into that, I really want to tell you guys, you got to get on over to restrictedrepublic.com. You can see both of our faces there. We've got so much information. Here's just a few of the latest videos. And look, right now, we've got an amazing special going on in light of everything that's happening. But basically, the special that we have for you right now is you can get it for $5 a month. $5 a month. This is a rare special that we run, and you can get it using the code TRUMP. But get over to Restricted Republic, right?
Yeah, well, right now we've seen thousands and thousands and thousands joining the platform because they value free speech. They now realize how important it is and how sensitive it is and how quickly it could be stripped away.
Yeah. So check it out. And in all honesty, there's been a big movement. We're going to get into it. Keep doing it, America.
Yes.
Because we need to get off these controlled platforms. And that's why we created Restricted Republic. And nobody knows how long we'll be on all these platforms, unfortunately. But let's get in to some of the epic U-turns by the Democratic Party. And I'll let you run with this first one here.
We should go, but first you got to show us pictures so we know who we're talking about here.
Let's go to the screenshot here.
Perfect. There you are. The gentleman you see on your screen. Who we're gonna put,
with the horns.
With the horns, we're gonna highlight him for a moment because parts of his story it's been developing daily. So go to the first headline here. U.S. takes back its assertion that Capitol rioters wanted to capture and assassinate officials. Now, why would CNN all of a sudden have to make, in my opinion, that is a huge backtrack, a huge backpedal? Why are they taking it back? Justice Department prosecutors who formally walked back their assertion in a court filing, we're going to show you here in a second, with the gentleman you see on your screen. His name, Jacob Anthony Chansley, allegedly to have led some in the crowd towards the first wave into the Capitol. Now, let's go to the document itself and show what they did here. The line that they are going to strike is here. Strong evidence, including Chansley's own words and actions at the Capitol, supports the intent of the Capitol riot was capture and assassinate elected officials. They want that removed. Why did you take such a rush to file such a bold? This would end this man's life effectively. It's going to keep him in prison for a very long time. And now, after filing it, you're going to backtrack the claim? Why do you think they had to do that suddenly? Yeah,
so they had to remove that whole portion, right? They want that off.
They want it struck.
Want it removed. And that is a bit of a backtrack because they're saying, oh, well, wait now. But that's not the only backtrack. Let's get in a couple more here. Here on this one, Breitbart.com, DOJ official says no direct evidence of a plot to kidnap or kill lawmakers in Capitol riot. Ergo, why they removed the verbiage from the accusation of Chauncey's or whatever. Then we have this one, the nationalpost.com, or Reuters.com, excuse me. U.S. now says no evidence of kill capture teams at U.S. Capitol. And then I'll let you run with this next one here because this is another U-turn.
The FBI questions and by the way, we're just watching this. This all happened within what, a 4 to 6 hour period maybe yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
We're sitting there and we're drilling through, watching everything like we do daily because that's our job. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait, no. And I send one. Well, holy cow, wait, another backtrack. And we sent another.
It's all in a short amount of time.
Very, very short amount of time. But you can go ahead and back to the...
And we're going to give you why we think they're backtracking too as well. No at least a little bit, right?
The FBI questions dozens in the killing of a Capitol police officer. Now, not many would realize because you don't watch the headlines daily, but that headline was actually changed. Go ahead down into the document. The FBI has conducted dozens of interviews that used to say investigations, one meaning you have a preponderance of evidence to result in an investigation, the other meaning you're just interviewing people to still get evidence. And if you needed more proof, just read down to paragraph number 2 on this page, and it says it relied on incorrect internal information. Thank you, New York Times, for proving out everything we saw transpire yesterday. And what does that mean?
Well, let's just mention they put the truth, but it's hidden in the
Always.
document. That's what they always do. One little word.
After they change the title, because they know not many people catch that, but we do, because it's what we do for a living. But what does that mean? Going back to the most important point, you just impeached a president based on him inciting everything.
As in, spontaneously, it happened as a result of what he said.
A few words he said.
Yeah, but they're backtracking now. Why?
Because you may have just incorrectly impeached the seated president of the United States of America.
It's based on no evidence, just like the last impeachment of him.
They're saying they have no evidence. They're saying themselves this was all planned. Mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, keep going down the list of people. Now you heard the other ones all declaring. It's just a travesty.
But here's the other thing. Yeah. That's not the only thing that they're backtracking on. You see, there was a big movement by all of you, and us included, as soon as the president got removed from these social media platforms, and there's been like 10 to 12 of them, and I think it's still going up, the Americans who voted for him, a lot of them got upset. And they started leaving en masse, keep leaving, because we're finally seeing movement on the other side. Get off Twitter, get off Facebook, get off Instagram, get off these controlled platforms, TikTok, all of those, and join Gab. We're on Gab under Restricted Republic, and Lisa Haven, and BitChute. I'm on BitChute, by the way. You guys got to get over there. And we're also on Rumble under Lisa Haven and Justice Knight and all of that. And
yeah, but don't think for a movement. This was a small movement, by the way.
No.
We have seen numbers that we haven't seen in years. So you wouldn't be alone making the move. We're getting as many clicks on a Rumble video, by the way, with almost virtually no subscribers than we do on other platforms with huge amount of subscribers.
And we're on there, under Lisa Haven and Restricted Republic.
Yes.
So you can just put those names in there and we'll come up. But with that, here's how they're already backtracking, right? Remember, the mainstream media, Amazon, Google, and
Facebook and Twitter, and you want me to keep going?
No, Apple. Jeez, I couldn't remember Apple. The three of them went after Parler and removed Parler and said it's Parler's fault that the Capitol riot happened. Well, absolutely zero of the people who were arrested had a Parler account, but they did. They had a Facebook account.
Yep.
So check out this little retraction or covering their butts. The Washington Post, Facebook Sandberg deflect blame for Capitol riot, but new evidence shows how platform played a role. FoxNews.com, AOC says Zuckerberg, Facebook bear partial responsibility for the Capitol riots. And of course, here's the thing. If they're partial responsibility, where is Apple and Google and Amazon saying, let's get rid of Facebook? They're just not.
Yeah, why?
They only do that to one side.
This is what happens. We told everybody, if there's any Democrats left on your platform, there probably is a few. Mm-hmm. And we warn everybody, it doesn't matter what side you're on, doesn't matter your political affiliation, religious affiliation, if they disagree with you, they will turn on you eventually. You can't just say, it's not happening to me now, I'm safe. They just went after Facebook. Facebook, that's their
own people.
They've done everything they've asked, and they demolished them. Just because they didn't do 100% of what they wanted.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. If you're on the left, you need to be. I mean, I don't even think you're safe from your own side. Just saying. No. But with that, but as a reminder, I want to show you guys some of the sites we have. I have BitChute here, Lisa Haven. Follow us there. I also have Lisa Haven on, this is the Rumble account. This is Restricted Republic. This is where Justice Knight has been posting too. But we're also there on Restricted Republic as well. So those are just some of the sites that I wanted to show you as we come to a close, absolutely. I guess. So any closing thoughts on that before we close it out? Because this is a huge backtrack. I think maybe not a massive backtrack, but a backtrack.
I don't know.
That I think we need to take note of.
You and I will differ on that slightly. I think it was because they'll never tell you straight up that, oh, by the way, we made a mistake. No, they do those little maneuvers when they made a major mistake. And the Democrats here, in my opinion, made a major mistake. They were so quick to judge, so quick to think they could seize on an opportunity that they just messed up. This is a big mess up, though. A big screw up. And we just showed you why.
Yeah, because it's a wrongful impeachment of the president. And that's why I believe this could be a backtrack. And it really is, because you can't call a planned event that was planned by somebody else and then blame it on a spontaneous action of the president. And B, I think the other reason is a lot of patriots are leaving their controlled platforms. Keep doing. Just a crazy world. But anyhow, we wanted to get all of that information to you as soon as possible. And I know they can find you, Justice Knight, on YouTube as well. But with that, I've got to give a big shout out to my partner. You guys know this stuff, and you know I take this all the time in my coffee. But this is healthwithlisa.com, and I'll show you guys the website here. But it's a BioTrust product, and it contains all 5 essential types of collagen that your body needs. And right now, you can get it for up to 51% off there at the website. Just go to healthwithlisa.com and make sure you're getting that collagen. And it's been really good on my hair, skin, and nails. So anyhow, thanks again for tuning into the broadcast. I truly appreciate every single one of you. I'm Lisa Haven, and you are...
Justice Knight. Yeah, that's the name, Justice Knight. Thank you all so much for being here.
Signing out.